Hello everybody, this is Brooklyn Witt. I'm your instructor for this fall for your Math 105 course, and I'm just creating this little intro video on basically to navigate through Blackboard and make sure you know where everything's at. And I'm not going to read everything to you, obviously, because there's a lot there, but I'm at least going to identify, just kind of summarize all the different parts of Blackboard, and obviously I need you guys to read through them specifically, but hopefully this video will help make it easier to at least kind of know what to do. So I'm gonna share my screen now. Okay. So I'm gonna turn the student view on. Okay. So once you've logged in to Blackboard using your global ID, it's the same login info that you use for your email. Once you've logged into Blackboard, you should see a class for you to click on that says, and you can see the name of it here in the top left. Some of you, it might say, like this long string of numbers might end in a 7 instead of a 6, but everything else should be the same. So either everything this says exactly, or yours might have a 7 at the end instead of a 6. But anyway, so once you enter the course in Blackboard, the first thing you should see is the announcements page. And as you can see, I've sent out a lot of stuff already. Just obviously trying to make sure everyone's set up and ready to rock and roll once Monday starts, because there's a lot of work to do in this class, and it's a shortened class as well in terms of number of weeks. So the last thing I want is for you guys to be trying to play catch up on day one. So hopefully you guys have been taking the time to read through this stuff. If you haven't, obviously now's a great time to do that. And anyway, so the bottom is as you go to the bottom, you'll see the older assignments. So the assignment on the very bottom is the first one, not assignment, sorry, announcement. The announcement at the very bottom is the first one I sent out. And this looks like a long list of things, but I actually repeated a few of them because I thought they were very important, like reading the syllabus or reading through all the information at Blackboard. So it's actually not as overwhelming as it might look. But so obviously read through all that. I had a separate announcement for your Pearson account, and I've obviously been sending out emails to you as well if you haven't gotten logged in yet. Yeah, so just some various things that I will personally be sending out. You can find in these announcements. I try to send them as emails, but if I, for some reason, forget to do that, obviously just be checking Blackboard regularly and just make sure you didn't miss anything. But again, I'll try to make sure those get to you in your email boxes as well. So that's the announcement. But if you are entering this Blackboard course for the first time, then you're going to want to go to the tab that says Start Here. And so this just kind of gives you kind of like a game plan for how to get ready for the course. Again, we're not doing synchronous meetings, so it's up to you to understand exactly what's expected of you, exactly when things are due. How do you make sure you're ready for exams? How do you make sure you have a proctor for your exams? All that kind of stuff. When are due dates? What's the late work policy? All that. What's the grading criteria for each type of assignment? All that stuff. You're going to need to be able to read through all this and understand exactly how the course works. Unfortunately, I can't do that for you, but I am here to help guide you along and answer your questions. So if as you're reading through all this, you don't understand something or have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. So anyway, the Start Here tab is a really good place to start. So there are some other things in here about like online learning in general, like how do you know if you're ready for an online class and what are some of the expectations? Is your computer ready for online learning? That's actually a big thing because you're going to need to download some specific software if you're going to be taking exams from home. If you're going to set up a proctor, that's a different story. But so there are various like softwares and stuff that your computer needs to be compatible with. So this is just a good place to make sure your computer is set up for that. Obviously, some expectations for e-learning. Just really basic course overview here, like when it starts and ends. All assignments are due at 11:59 on Sundays of the week that they were due. So we consider like day 1 of the week would be a Monday, and then you have until Sunday at 11:59 to get all your stuff in for that week. The only exception is week 12, which is the week of the final exam. So that due date will be a Friday, since that's the last day of the semester. Some stuff about discussion board posts. Communication is very crucial. I'm going to let you read through all this and stuff. Just some stuff about etiquette. Academic integrity is huge. I'll probably do a separate video on that, but that's huge, especially with online learning. And there's obviously less accountability that teachers have control over. So obviously, I hope you guys will hold yourself accountable. And then obtaining a proctor is super important, because while we're okay with letting you guys do homework and stuff without somebody watching over you the whole time, obviously, we do need to have some special accountability measures for exams, and you cannot get credit or take your exams without figuring out what kind of proctor you're going to have. So that's either going to be a proctor that you go to in person, or you'll see there's an option for using Respondus Lockdown Browser, which will basically turn your computer into a digital proctor, and it's going to record you while you're taking your tests and stuff. And so that is another option that you'll have to look into. Anyway, so let's just start here tab. It kind of gives you an overview of like, how do you get ready for class? One of the first thing they tell you to do is to read the syllabus. So that tab is next below. Let's start here tab. So syllabus is a PDF. So just click on that to open it, and you can see it pops up as like a Blackboard tab sort of. So read through it, the whole thing. I'm telling you, like, everything in here is important. So obviously don't try to cut corners and just not read it, because there are a lot of important things in there. It'll probably answer a lot of questions you might have. So make sure you read the syllabus. This is just explaining like how grades are determined. So you'll obviously, have been talking a lot about Pearson. My math lab is kind of like is a different name for the same thing. Those are synonymous phrases, but so My Math Lab, aka your Pearson account, all of your assignments in there are going to account for 50% of your course grade. And so in My Math Lab, you're going to do a lot of homework assignments, and you can actually attempt those 3 times each, as long as they're completed by the Sunday due date. And they're going to be 8 basically weekly quizzes, kind of. The reason why we don't have 12 is because some of those quizzes will be replaced with like a test or a midterm or something. So you'll have 8 weekly quizzes, 2 tests that are within Pearson, and you won't need a proctor for those. And then everything else that's not in Pearson, which is really just 2 things. One is a midterm. That's going to be week 6. And then the other is a final exam. So the midterm and final exam combined account for the remaining 50% of your course grade. These are the ones that need to be taken with a proctor. So I'm going to highlight this because I'm sure my mouse doesn't show up very well. These are the exams that you need to take with a proctor, and these ones are actually taken through Blackboard, not through Pearson. Looks like you do have 2 attempts. So obviously, you want to study and prepare, so you don't have to use those 2 attempts. But anyway, so a little note here about study plan. It's not graded, but it does help you a lot. And we found that students tend to do better on their big exams if they work through the study plan. It kind of like personalizes practice for you based on what you're good at and what you're not good at. So that's another bonus way to study if you're trying to improve how you're doing. Discussion board is a place for you to ask questions about each section. So And it is an extra credit opportunity, so I would encourage you to take advantage of that. Here's the grading scale, pretty standard. And here's the course schedule. This is pretty important. I would strongly encourage you for however you're organizing your dates and stuff. Like I know some of you guys might just use the calendar on your cell phone to organize due dates and stuff or special events. Or if you have a paper planner, I used to do that. Sometimes I wish I still had it. So whatever calendar system that you're using, I would write these due dates down like, at tomorrow, today, and just get those all organized and where you can see them regularly. That way you're not caught by surprise with anything. And you'll notice that all these due dates are Sundays. The only time it's not a due date is the midterm second attempt, I think, is a Friday. So everything else should be a Sunday, though, due date. And the final exam is not a Sunday, it's a Friday. So that's pretty important. I would definitely write all that down. Put reminders in your phone or find something to help make sure you don't miss any of them. All right. Ebook access and info. Just a quick little blurb. I'm not going to talk much about this, but basically just explaining what exactly did you get in terms of a textbook goes and what are you getting out of your access to my math lab. So nothing a whole lot I need to talk about there. Course introduction, just kind of talking about the two different hubs you're going to be going to. Blackboard is where all your official grades will be held. And obviously announcements, syllabus, course materials, discussion board, all that. My math lab is where you're going to do like 90% of your work. So, and you can access my math lab through this button here on the left. If you've already gotten your Pearson account signed up and you're good to go, then obviously you should already be familiar with that. But if you've not set up your Pearson account, that's also where you're going to go. But just make sure you're following the instructions that were sent to you, either by me or by the bookstore. So anyway, my math lab is where you're going to work on homework and tests and quizzes, all that. Study plan is like extra practice, but not graded. And yeah, just email me if you have questions about anything. And meet your instructor. What? Not sure why this is blank. That's weird. But anyway, I'll have to look into that. But anyway, it just tells you what my office hours and stuff are, my email and stuff. In case it's not showing up by the time you look at it, my office hours will be Mondays and Tuesdays. Mondays are going to be from 10:15 to 11:15. And then Tuesdays will be 12:30 to 1:30. And those are all through WebEx. And hopefully, once this is fixed, you'll see a link for my WebEx meeting room. And all you have to do is click on it, and I should be there during those specific times. Yeah, and just some things about me. I went to Saginaw Valley for my bachelor's. I'm pursuing a PhD program right now. I like running. I ran a marathon spring of 2020. I was signed up for one, but it got canceled due to COVID. But I still just decided to run my own marathon around here in Mount Pleasant. So I like running a lot. I do have a 6-month-old baby, first time mom, so that's a big part of my life now. And I shamelessly show pictures of him whenever I get the chance. So anyway, so that's a little about me. And again, once this page is fixed, you'll be able to see all my contact information and my office hours and stuff. So for you guys, this next tab is pretty important. This is where you can see your grades. So this is the My Grades tab. Now your work in my math lab should automatically sync over into Blackboard. So that's why you obviously have to follow those instructions closely. And so as you're working through my math lab, it'll update in here. And then once it comes time to do the midterm and the final, you'll obviously see your grades posted in here as well. But, Next, so course materials. So if you look at like, see how they're like little bars separating some of these menu options. This third set of menus here are going to be pretty. They should be frequently visited by you guys. So course materials is pretty important. This is where you go basically at the beginning of each week when you're ready to start a new week's worth of lessons. So we'll just kind of look at what week 1 looks like real quick. It tells you what topics are covered. Looks like you have to work through 3 sections of the textbook. Here's like a summary of what each section is asking you to do. Obviously, it's best to do them in order because, as most people know, as you may have experienced in a math class, topics tend to build upon the previous ones, and so it's pretty hard to just skip around. So try to do them in order. There is a quiz at the end of this week's worth of material, so make sure you do that. And there are some PowerPoints that you can look through to help you like learn the lesson material. And so you've got a PowerPoint for each of the 3 sections for this week. However, I thought for whatever reason, I was assuming there were videos that were in this folder for each week. However, the videos that I was thinking of are actually not here. They're in Pearson. So I will do a quick little view of Pearson. Most of you guys should see something like this once you enter the class in Pearson. And so if you want to watch a lesson video, you'll just look for the video and resource library option on the left. And so let's say we're in week 1 and I want to watch the lesson video for section 6.1. So if I go back to Pearson, you can just pick out what chapter. So chapter 6, section 1. And I would encourage you to click video or section video lectures. And those, once you click those 2 boxes, you get a lot of resources. So like this is the video lecture. If you want specific examples, then there are a bunch of these here that are very short. So those would be good for you if your learning style doesn't do well with just reading from a PowerPoint. For those of you that are more visual and learn better from like a video and interacting, well, not interacting, but being able to listen to a human being, then these are going to be good too. So that's what each week will look like. I'm not going to go through every single week because they're all in the same format. Some of them have quizzes, so I believe weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all have quizzes at the end. 6, or wait, no, hold on. I think there's a test in here. Anyway, not all of them have quizzes, but every week will either have a quiz or a test. The end of week 6 will have a midterm. So you can see in week 6, there's some stuff at the bottom on how to prepare for a midterm. And then after week 6, these weeks will all resume with either having a quiz or a test within Pearson. And then week 12 is where you take your final exam. So all those folders will have the information you need for each week. My math lab. Yeah, so these are all some helpful. These are basically all the buttons you can use to access our course. And I won't usually send announcements through Pearson, but these are obviously some helpful buttons for you to use. And obviously this is the best way to access our Pearson course and making sure it's linked through Blackboard. So if you haven't done it already, make sure you follow the instructions that were sent to you to get your Pearson account linked with Blackboard. Now, after you've gone through the course materials folder and maybe you even watched some videos in Pearson and you've decided, I'm still not getting it, I need some help. You have a lot of extra resources, and that's what this Getting Help Resources menu option is for. So in Pearson, as you're working through homework, each problem should have a lot of it will have examples, but a lot of options for you to choose from when it comes to getting help. And so you'll start by clicking the question help button within Pearson. And then these are all the options. So help me solve this. That will essentially solve the problem that's in front of you for you. And then that counts basically, I think, as one of your 3 attempts. View an example, I believe, will work you through a different question, but similar, and it won't count as one of your attempts. So then you're left to try to solve the question that they originally gave you. You can go. You can opt to have them take you to the part of the textbook that that pertains to that question. There's a video, I'm guessing is similar to the videos like in this part of Pearson that we looked at. Oops, wrong tab. And animations as well. So these options aren't available for every single problem, but I believe help me solve this or view an example and textbook are pretty common. So then there's another website that just covers all the topics in this algebra course. So some of these might be a little bit more easy, might be easier to understand, a little more cut and dry, to the point. I will definitely advocate for you to use our online Math Assistance Center option. If you're on campus and are planning to, use the resource on campus, you can do that in person as well. But if you're not on campus at all, our tutoring center, which we call the Math Assistance Center, aka the MAC, if you're not planning to come on campus at all, you can actually get tutoring services. So you can get help from a live tutor through this WebEx meeting room, and there's a link here. And I would definitely encourage you to use that. We've got great tutors, and they're itching for people to come in and ask for help. And then below are some videos that are organized by section and even subtopics within each section if you just want something quick to look at other than the videos in Pearson. And then last but not least, you can always ask a question in the discussion board, which can obviously help you get some extra credit too. But if you wait to post, then obviously you're less likely to get help. So anyway, these are the little bonus videos to help you within different topics within each section. So very organized, very a lot of videos, a lot of things you can watch if you're not sure what to do. You can see obviously there are specific types of videos within each section that can help you out. So anyway, if you're stuck and need help, you have plenty of resources here within Blackboard that you can go to. And then obviously I'm a resource as well. So if after watching these you still aren't getting it and you just want someone to work with you live face to face, we can always set up a WebEx meeting where I work with you through a virtual call. So below all these videos, I personally have posted just some other resources so here are the Pearson sign up instructions in case you forgot to do that, how to do that. My math lab homework tips, this is more like troubleshooting. So I would read through this as well. It kind of explains how you can avoid if you get logged out or something, what do you do? Things like how to type your answer in correctly so that way it understands exactly what you're saying. Because a lot of times with these computer math websites, it's really easy for syntax and stuff like that to get in the way of getting credit for a problem, even though you might have come up with the correct answer. So I would encourage you to read through that. It'll help, I think, prevent headaches in the future. All right, so that's all for the getting help resources. Now I'm in the discussion board. And yeah, so this is where you can earn some extra credit. And you can see the discussion board is organized by week. So if you want to start asking questions about stuff from class, then obviously click on the corresponding week. Obviously, you shouldn't be asking questions about the midterm or the final, so don't do that. But yeah, if you answer questions from other classmates and ask questions yourself, then that's how you get extra credit. But make sure you read the specific details on how to do that. And then the midterm final exam. This is super important as well. I would obviously, again, read through all this before class starts on Monday. And again, you might not remember it all, but at least you've seen it once and it's familiar. So this is where you go to get your proctor set up. I would definitely figure out how you're going to have your exams proctored before class starts on Monday. So one option is to have an in-person proctor. The most common way to do that would be to go to a qualified proctoring center like our CMU Global Campus Center. If you're within Mount Pleasant and you want to come on campus, I believe our library does it as well. But I'm not going to say that's for certain, but I know there are links here that give you options to choose from of where you want to go as your proctoring center. So, and then there's also a way you can designate your own proctor. Like if you're way out of the way and you're not close to any of these other proctoring options, I think you can set up your own proctor, but it's a little complicated. So, so these are the links you click on if you want to try to pick from the options we have already approved. If you're not planning to use an in-person proctor, then the only other option you have is to use Respondus Lockdown Browser. And so essentially, you're just downloading a new browser to your computer. So it's basically like you're downloading something like Safari or Chrome or Firefox. This Respondus Lockdown Browser is just another type of web browser, but it's specifically designed for proctoring exams, and hence the lockdown, it'll make sure you're not able to, go to any other web pages and stuff like that. And then at the same time, the reason why this says you need a webcam is because it will record you while you're taking your test. And it'll ask you to do other things before you take your test, like to show your photo ID, just some things to verify that it's actually you taking the test. And then it might ask you to do a sweep of your room so we can make sure that you don't have any resources hanging on your wall that are not allowed, stuff like that. So anyway, that's also an option if you are not planning to get an in-person proctor, but would rather just take the exams from home using your computer. So if that's the route you want to go, read through this very carefully, download the browser, and then immediately I would do this practice assignment. It's just a fake exam that will make sure you know how to use the lockdown browser once it is time to actually take the midterm and the final. So I would do this practice assignment right away as well. Once you've done that successfully and you know how that system's going to work, then once week 6 rolls around, here's where you'll find your midterm. Week 12, here's where you'll find your final exam, all that good stuff. And then if you ever need to send an email, obviously this is where you can go. Yeah, the library tools, that's all pretty standard for Blackboard and all that. So anyway, that is a rundown of Blackboard. And I know I talked a lot about it, but it's still important that you read through everything as well, because I obviously didn't read through everything. I just summarized all the different menus, but definitely make sure you understand all the parts in Blackboard. And as you go through that, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me by email. And yeah, so anyway, I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to working with you guys soon.